Okay guys, welcome back to another video coaching lesson from your6packquest.com. I'm Vince Delmonte. I want to ask you a question before we talk about the best fat burning exercises, period. Which muscle group is going to burn more calories? My biceps or my legs? Look how small my arms are. Look how big my legs are. Which muscle group is going to create a greater caloric expenditure? So let me ask you now, thinking of the exercises you've been lately doing, trying to get rid of your stomach fat, trying to get washboard abs, are the program you're following right now, is it predominantly isolation exercises, or is it primarily multi-joint exercises that are working multiple muscle groups in the same movement? But you should know the answer by now. So what I want to do today is I want to talk about the top 6 exercises, and we're going to associate each exercise with a primary movement of your body. And when designing an effective fat loss program, you need to make sure you have one variation on what I like to call the head of the family tree for each muscle movement. So let's break this up. We'll start with the upper body. The upper body is broken up into 4 movements. It's broken up into horizontal push, horizontal pull. What that means is for every pushing exercise you have, you better have a pulling exercise. So if you have 4 pushing exercises, you better have 4 pulling exercises, or you're going to create instability in your shoulder joint. That goes for the vertical pushing and pulling range of motion as well. So if you've got 4 pushing exercises above your head, you better have 4 pulling exercises down, or else again, you're going to create instability. If not now, 5-10 years down the road when you go visit your doctor, you're going to have some serious shoulder problems. So let's move to the lower body. The lower body we're going to break up into two planes of movement as well. We're going to break it up into the frontal plane and the rear plane. Whenever I do an exercise on the frontal plane, I refer that to as a quad dominant exercise. Whenever I do an exercise on the rear, I refer that to as a hip dominant exercise, which is basically anything that works the lower back, the glutes, and the hamstrings. So let's go through those things again. Let me ask you, what muscle group are we working when we do a horizontal pushing exercise? Chest. What is the king of the family tree for a chest? Bench press, barbell press, whether it's dumbbells on a flat or an incline, those are all excellent choices. Next, after horizontal pushing, we've got horizontal pulling. What's the head of the family tree on a horizontal pulling exercise? It can be any variation on a seated row. It can be a bent over dumbbell row. It can be a one-arm dumbbell row, a wide grip row, any variation on a row, the opposite of a chest press. Now we've got to move to the vertical push range of motion. Shoulders. What's the head of the family tree on that plane of motion? Military press, dumbbell shoulder presses, whether they're seated or standing. Again, you need to have one of those exercises in your fat burning program. Lastly, we need to focus on vertical pulling. What's the head of the family tree for that one? Wide grip pull downs, wide grip pull-ups, chin-ups, close grip chin-ups, close grip pull downs, any variation on a vertical pulling exercise that's going to work your lats. So you need at least one exercise from those 4 planes of motion to create an effective fat burning program. Now let's look to the lower body. This is a little more obvious. What's the head of the family tree for your quads? The squats. What's the head of the family tree on your hips? This might not be as obvious for most people. The head of the family tree for a hip dominant exercise is deadlifts. If you're doing them properly, you're driving through your glutes, hamstrings, lower back, and that's a glute exercise. Your quads, yes, are working. Deadlifts are a hip dominant exercise. So throughout the week, let's rehearse all that. You should have a bench press. You should have a seated row. You should have a shoulder press. You should have a pull down. You should have a quad exercise such as squats. You should have a hip exercise like deadlifts. If you're hitting all those exercises throughout your week, you're one step closer to getting a 6-pack. The next step is to put those magic money exercises together, and that's what I teach in the Your 6-Pack Quest program. So I look forward to helping you, and I look forward to seeing your transformation results. We'll talk to you soon.